Welcome to the most must-listen to show on the internet. Welcome to AEG. I am your host, JB, and this week I just have Marlon.
Hey guys, what's up?
And a very good friend of mine, somebody I have known for a long time. Give it up for Bear.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Yes. So there might be some breakdown wrestling talk in this. I'm just going to warn you right now because that's what we like to talk about, Bear and I. But no, we're going to talk some video games because all of us, have been playing quite a bit of stuff lately. I know me personally, I've played a lot of stuff. I've finished 3 games in the last week. So, yeah, it's been nice. So we figured we would kind of just run with this episode and just kind of give our thoughts on the games that we've been playing, and then talk about the Nintendo did a Direct last week that had quite a few big announcements in there. So we'll kind of get to that, and then there was a couple little things from the pre-TGS stuff today, which we can kind of touch on at the end of the towards the end of the episode. So, Marlon, do you want to start it off? I know you've been playing a expansion for one of your favorite games.
Shoot, can I call it an expansion?
It's
by this
basically an expansion / its own game.
Yeah, it's massive. I'm sorry, man, but Capcom really knocked it out of the park with this Iceborne expansion. 27 different bosses and monsters and stuff like that. You know,
that's a lot.
It's its own different map with its own different ecology and its own different quests and stuff like that. It is like, if you ask me, it is just literally a new game for Monster Hunter because it has its own trophy list with 50 trophies and its own platinum.
That's insane. So I mean, it's basically, you're right, it is basically its own game.
It is basically its own game because if you enjoy Monster Hunter World, the base game, and you jump into Iceborne, it is dialed up to 11. The amount of things that you can do in this game, the amount of things that overall, immerses you into the world of,
Is it Astera? Isn't that the
no,
name of? Or Hoarfrost Reach is the new area.
Hoarfrost Reach is the new era. Astera will be the old area.
Yes.
The new map, the new town is called Ciliana. So the things you can do in Ciliana, the things you can do in Hoarfrost Reach are, there's not enough words that I can say that will describe, that will tell you how good this game is. If you enjoy Monster Hunter World, you will have a blast playing Iceborne. And
that's my biggest hang-up on it, is the fact that you do have to finish Monster Hunter World, the base game, and all of the missions and story content before you can even get to this. Like, you can't even play this content, which is pretty big.
But I'm just now getting into Monster Hunter. So, because I played it on the 3DS for like a week, and I dug it, and I just now got it for the Xbox. And the whole entire mechanics with the weapons is what's confusing me sometimes.
Okay. Since I don't want to get into this podcast because we'll explaining every single weapon.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll talk for an hour about Monster Hunter. Right.
So, only thing I can tell you is this. Go to the training camp, work out which weapon you like the most. For me, personally speaking, if you want to get into a weapon where it's just very easy to handle and, very... more, not easy, but simple in the sense of like, oh, okay, I know what I can do with this thing, will be the bow. It is... The mechanics of how the bow works, it is simple, it is easy to pick up, and you don't have to worry about like, oh, how do I use the combo with this one, how do I do it with that. Like, longsword probably for me would be the most difficult to understand. After that will be the insect glaive. If you like just hitting things and like the mechanics of how the great sword works, you can use those. But if you just want to get into Monster Hunter, complete it, and see how it's about, I would say just get the bow and just go with that. That's what I've been maining my entire 450, now probably 600 hours in Monster Hunter World.
Damn.
And I've just been enjoying using the bow. And now with Iceborne, this is the thing though. With Iceborne, there is a huge deal about having elemental weapons,
Yeah,
which
I was reading that in the one of the reviews where they were saying like you really have to you can't be like stuck in the same equipment or armor as you have been. Like you have to keep things interest. You know, you have to change things up based on what type of monster you're going to hunt.
so for me, which is I already been doing that because that's how the bow kind of plays. Because I personally prefer elemental weapons because it makes me and it forces me to not only play one weapon, but buy and forge multiple weapons of different monsters to be able to handle every single situation that I can come across. So for me, I enjoy that aspect. So when this happened, I'm like, oh, this is great for me. Now I can get, I'm not just stuck using a Legiana. Now I can use, Diablos. I can use Legia, not Legia Cross. I can get, Sinogre's bow. I can get, Devil Joe's bows. I can get, you know, Daishe Palumu, Viper Tobikadachi. I can get, start making new water Puke. Uh, and that's not even getting into the high end monsters like, Volcana or dealing with, uh, Bel Hasak, which for me it's gonna be a blast. I
Well, it's good.
really and the thing is this though, it has so many options that you can do when it comes to customization and options that you can do when creating new armor that it allows you to, you know what? Now I am stronger, faster, and I can deal more damage. I can go back to the base game, like, in high rank, and deal with those sons of guns much easier than before. So that power creep, in the sense, usually I don't like power creep in my video games because it just forces you to like, okay, fine, whatever. That my old stuff doesn't work anymore, so I got to get new stuff. But for this specific game, I think it works because even though the old gear doesn't work as much for the new areas, it still works if you just want to do high rank.
Right.
Now, having said that, there is a couple of things that I personally did not enjoy about Iceborne. I love the snowy area. It is the probably one of the most beautiful areas that you can get in any video game as of right now. You know, granted, I have not played Assassin's Creed Origins or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but
Those games are damn beautiful. I'll give you that. Gears 5, which we'll get to here shortly,
Gears Five
is
is also
goddamn
freaking
gorgeous.
beautiful.
Wow.
But this is the thing that gets me though. I hate that mechanic of where my stamina gets basically destroyed because of the environment. That's the one thing about
Oh, they
Iceborne that
did they bring that back? Because they
oh
didn't
yeah,
have that in.
no,
Okay, I
no.
didn't think so.
So
Because that's what I was like
so
really happy about. Because that's like they used to do that in the old Monster Hunter games.
yeah.
But
So basically, the more you are in horse reach, frost reach,
yeah,
uh, is that your stamina will deplete slowly and by just being out in the environment. And even though yes, there's a couple of abilities that you can do to minimize that or even mitigate that completely. At the beginning of the game, you don't got that shit. uh, so it gets really annoying. So I'm just gonna leave this like this because I can talk about this game forever right now.
right.
Uh, Number one tip for anyone who wants to play this game and just wants to jump in: make sure that you get your master rank armor, any armor, from the get go, because you need that defense. If you go into Monster Hunter to the Horfreeze, no, Frost, what is it?
Hoarfrost Reach.
Horfrost Reach. That's right. If you're gonna go to Horfrost Reach with your base armor that you picked up on Monster Hunter base game, that ain't gonna cut it. You're gonna get fucked up big time. So your priority is not to get a weapon. Your priority is to get that base armor, whether it is bone armor, whether it's the new Bamboro armor, or whether it's like Beator's armor. You wanna get that master rank armor as a priority. Your abilities, your doesn't really matter at the beginning of the game because basically you have to treat this thing like you're playing Monster Hunter from the beginning all over again. Because your master
Makes
rank
sense.
it levels up the same thing as your hunter rank, where it was zero from 1 all the way to 49 before you can do most of all the quests. But this thing is the same thing, from 0 to 1 to 3 to 4, to allows you to create and get better quests and stuff like that. Now, having said all that, I did not just play Iceborne. I also played a little game called Gears 5.
Yeah. So did
Yeah.
I.
For my
I haven't
PC,
yet.
because the Game Pass was $2 for the first 2 months, and I was not gonna pass it out because that
Yeah.
game came included with the Ultimate Game Pass.
Right.
So I said, you know what? My laptop is decent enough to play that game in ultra settings for the most part. Let's try it. Let's go for it. Game is beautiful.
It is
Absolute
so
gorgeous.
just stunning. Like there
I
were
put it-
times
I
where I
put-
would just stop in the middle of the campaign and just walk around and look at the areas and stuff. Like, and I don't do that very often in games.
Oh, don't tell me that.
I mean, I do, but I mean, I do look around in the environments and stuff like that. But man, that game above all is so good looking.
So usually what my setup was for visual for this game using my laptop was have it at least most settings in ultra when it came to actual gameplay performance wise, but when it came to visual, most of it was on medium. And I said, you know what? I want to put this on ultra. I want to see how this looks. Let me tell you, number one, my laptop sounded like it was having a freaking wheezing attack. It was going.
That's funny.
It looked like freaking Dorian was stuck in my laptop and just basically blowing
That's
all of,
hilarious.
all of it out. You know, but the game looked so good. The colors were popping, like the fauna and the flora was just
Yeah,
absolutely
especially that first
amazing.
area, which is like the like jungle area. Oh man.
When I first killed my first hive using the Lancer's chainsaw, those guts coming out, man, I was like,
Yep.
man, that is some nasty ass shit, but that is the most beautiful blood that I have seen in a video game in a long time. So, having said that, I tried playing this game on mouse and keyboard because I never played it mouse and keyboard. I'm usually with
Oh.
control. Okay, so yeah, I suck. I can pretty much tell you right here from now on that if I'm gonna play Destiny Shadowkeep on my computer because of cross save and stuff like that, it's gonna take me a while to get used to it. So I tried it. I then went to play some multiplayer with Gears 5 because I just wanted to see how the game works on that aspect. And again, I suck. I think I probably die about 25 times before I got my first kill on multiplayer.
Damn.
And then I said to myself, you know what? I had it. I can't do this anymore. I grabbed my C40 controller,
There you go.
pop it in, and it went literally from 0 kills to 8 kills in the span of 2 minutes.
Right.
I'm like,
Jesus.
I'm okay. I think I'm getting used to this thing using an actual controller now. So when that happened, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna play Gears 5 using a controller. I might want to go back and play with a, you know, mouse and keyboard because I really want to learn how to play it. But other than that, I just enjoy both games. I think they're both great games. Anyone, whether you're in Xbox or whether you're in PS4 or PC or Xbox again, enjoy it, have fun, and just have a blast with them.
I was gonna say,
I'll leave you.
Yeah,
I'll
I was
leave it
gonna
for you, Jeff.
Yeah, I finished Gears of War 5, the campaign, on
No spoilers.
no spoilers. I will not say anything. I will just say it is probably, despite all of the glitches and all of the stuff that I ran into for that game, because it's been a pretty rough launch since Friday. There's been a lot of glitches, a lot of playing moments in the campaign, and all of a sudden it'll freeze or hard crash or send me back to the main Xbox menu, or constantly save, but it's not actually saving, it's just telling you that it's saving. And there were like probably 8 or 9 times where I had to replay the same part over and over because of checkpointing issues and stuff like that. So I mean, there was a lot of stuff. However, despite all of that, it is probably my favorite Gears campaign that they've made. It's just, it takes the series in different directions. It does things that I've been kind of wanting them to do, and they've teased in the past, but now kind of went full into it, which I don't want to get into because I do not want to spoil anything. But I mean, if you have Game Pass, you owe it to yourself to play the game. I have not touched. Yes.
But I'm not done playing through the other ones. I need to finish. You're gonna make me go play it.
To be fair, if you really wanted to skip 4, they do a previously on Gears 4 that gives like a recap of some of the major story beats, so that way you don't have to.
Honestly, about that, somebody who didn't play Gears 4, I was absolutely lost.
Yeah.
Okay? It's somebody who hasn't played Gears 4, somebody who hasn't. Here's the thing: if you play Gears 4 and you watch this cutscene, you're thinking, "Oh, makes sense. It is the story about all her stuff." He have not played Gears 4.
Yeah, there's not much context. I'll give you that.
What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, because I recently,
played Gears 4.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I replayed Gears 4 in preparation for Gears 5. So, yeah.
You had the.
I had that reference point. So I mean. Yeah, I would say if you're fuzzy bear, I would definitely play through Gears 4 because Gears 4 is not a long game at all.
No, it's not.
You play on casual. It only took me probably 6 or 7 hours. And Gears 5 was a longer game, definitely. It was probably, I would say, between 10 and 12, 10 and 11. But it was.
So it should take me about 20 hours then.
Right, because family and life gets in the way.
Yeah, family training.
Right. But yeah, it was very, very excellent. It's definitely going to be on my list of best of this year. I don't know where exactly it's going to fall on that list yet. Because I mean, obviously it's only September, and there's a lot of games coming out still that I really want to buy. So, but I definitely do recommend it. I don't want to get too much into it because it is still so fresh. I mean, when we're recording this, it's only been out 3 days. It'll officially be available for everybody else tomorrow. So I don't want to get into it, but definitely if you've ever had any type of interest in the Gears games before, I definitely recommend it. So, and I will be playing more. I will be playing some multiplayer to try that out too, and probably some horde mode too. But yeah, other than Gears 5, I also played a couple other games this week. I finished 2 other games within the last week. First one, which I've barely, kind of like Marlon, I played like an hour of it. I did start Astral Chain on the Switch. I can't say a lot about it, honestly. I only played like the prologue mission and the training, like where you're like, here's how to use your Legion, which is like your attack, like your attacking companion. I don't know. I don't think either of you probably played Devil May Cry 5.
I play a little bit. Oh, no, I didn't play that much.
But you saw how V worked, where you kind of like you have like these basically like these substitutes for you actually fighting. Like you can still fight and shoot and attack, but you have what's called the Legion that is tethered to you that will go out and do more damage, and you can command separately from your attacks and stuff like that. So it's something a little bit like it adds more, a more deep aspect to the combat. But I really I saved it right before I was going to start the second mission, so I literally have not barely touched it whatsoever. So I will definitely once I get deeper into that, which I'm going to try to play as much of it as I can before Borderlands drops this weekend. So because that I am ready. I'm freaking ready for Borderlands 3.
Ready for Borderlands 3, huh?
Yes.
Amen.
Other games that I played was I played through Supermassive. I think it was Supermassive. Damn it! Now I'm gonna. It's.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, I know. Goose usually helps me on this.
You play those games, brother, not me.
I know. I can't remember the name of the studio. Shit. Stall. Supermassive. I was right. Okay. Supermassive Games.
Yeah, it was
They
you're talking
they
Control?
made
What?
the makers of Until Dawn. They did a new
Yeah.
game called the Dark Pictures anthology Man of Medan, which is a
Oh,
similar style. It's a horror, interactive horror movie. Um, it centers around 4 or 5 people that are diving on this like wreckage in the middle of the ocean, and they get like picked up by these like basically it's these like pirates that they're trying to like basically kidnap them to try to ransom them for money because 2 of the people on the thing are really rich. So you end up getting like taken away, and you end up running into this giant basically ghost ship freighter, and you
gotcha.
go there and you find out that there's like that everybody died on this ship because of some unknown like horrible thing, but I'm not going to spoil what that was in case anybody listening wants to play it. But it is very horror movie like. I mean, it is like a B movie, because even like some of the dialogue just made me just roll my eyes with how terrible it is.
Very campy.
Super campy.
Where are you, Billy?
Yeah, super campy. I mean, and it's very much based on choices. Every little decision you make, you have they're called like bearings, and every little decision can alter the bearing of like your choices and how the story is going to play out. Any of the characters can die in a lot of the different situations. I actually managed to keep everybody alive except for one person. And that was honestly an accident, because I didn't realize that a decision I had made was going to end up killing this character. So, but I mean, it was good. I don't. It's only a $30 game. It was not. It was not as good as I was hoping it would be, because I mean, I loved Until Dawn. That was probably one of my favorite types, like those type of games, those interactive narrative experiences. Probably one of my favorite one of those that I'd ever played, and I really had high hopes. And this isn't the only one of these, because it's obviously it's called the Dark Pictures anthology. Like, they're gonna make more. There was actually a trailer at the end of this one teasing the next one. So I mean, it was good. I mean, for $30, I don't know if I really recommend it, but it's fairly short too. It only took me about like 3 or 4 hours to finish. It was not very long. But if you're into that kind of thing, I mean, I would at least
What
look
can I tell you?
into it.
It's for me when it comes to horror films. I what's the word that I'm looking for here for this? When it comes to horror movies, I don't like campy stuff, mainly because I don't find it scary. I just find it funny. So
Right.
whenever I
I
see
was
something like for example, what's the movie? Drag Me to Hell. For me, I didn't get a single scream or scare moment in that movie. For me, I was laughing the entire time from beginning to end, because for me,
Really?
I just found it funny as hell. When the freaking goat was like, "I'm gonna get you," I just started laughing my head off. Uh, so when
I
it comes
kind of
to
got
this
scared.
camp, when it comes to this kind of movies or kind of game stuff like that, I just find them funny. For me, scary films are suspenseful, like Saw, or
tension.
you
They
know
they
he,
are good at
where
building
he
tension.
where you know he's gonna get killed, but you don't know how he's gonna get killed. And when that happens, for me, I'm like, oh, damn, okay. So for me, I like having that tension builds up and builds up and builds up to the point where you feel like it's gonna grab you. But when it comes to campy stuff, I just can't get behind it. I
Yeah,
just find it funny.
I mean, I will say they do a very good job of jump scares. There were quite a few moments that just the way that they play with the camera and the way that that you can interact with certain things, like they make things pop out, and they make like music cues along with it, and it definitely made me like startled but not like scared,
So
if
let
that
me
makes
ask you this then.
sense.
I'm looking at the cast of Man of Medan, and you have Uh, two Caucasian people and three African Americans.
Mhm.
Which one was the one that you ended up killing?
The
Was it okay? I
one,
mean, was it the girl
the
or was it the
one,
guy?
the girl.
Okay,
So wait,
now I know.
all the black people lived.
Well, one of them did not, but everybody else
Yeah,
did.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm sorry, you played it wrong because any person knows that they don't get scared. They're like, you know what? We should be out of here. We're not dealing with this ghost ship. Bye. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
only white people do that. Like, let's go do this.
Exactly. Us black
Let's go.
people, we know what's going on. We like, and that's why my rule of thumb is if I see one white person running away, I'm just gonna be chill. I'm gonna go the opposite direction. But I see 4 or 5 white people running away, I'm gonna follow them because 4 or 5 white people aren't gonna run towards the danger. That's a crowd running away from danger. One is gonna run towards the danger. 4 or 5 will run away from danger. If I see black people running, then I'm gonna run with them because as a fellow black man myself, I know what's up.
it's
It's
the
just
thing,
common
though.
sense.
Yeah,
It's
I
just,
mean,
it's just
you're not
the
wrong.
way I see it. It's just the way I see whenever those movies stuff like that, whenever those games stuff like that, they always make like the most dumbest decisions, man. It's like you look at it from the perspective of like, no real person, no real human being would do this to themselves. It's like, well, it's a big, scary mansion. Anyone who has fucking brain would go, yeah, I'll skip that. Have a nice day. Bye, guys. No, no, no. What do people in these movies do? Let's go look inside. No.
I won't even go
No
near
one
Gore
does.
Orphanage because I know what's gonna happen to me. Because all my white friends, let's go to Gore Orphanage or let's go to the reformatory on Halloween. Okay, let me find some more black people so I'm not the only one that's going, so that at least I know I have a shot of surviving.
Survive.
Because at
So,
least one black person is gonna die.
oh god. Like, okay, can someone please tell me why is it that if they do that? Like, the first person, the first guy says, guys, don't worry, everything will be fine. He's the first person to get out. Like,
Yeah.
boom, at the beginning. No, yeah, we know that you're dying. Like, right from the get go. We don't have to worry about it.
Hmm.
You know we're dead. Like, it reminds me of like what was the movie with
Samuel Jackson when he gave that
yeah,
big old
Samuel
speech. Deep
yeah,
Blue Sea.
like
Man, I was okay. This is how old I am. I was in theaters. I was in high school when that movie came out.
oh my god.
And I'm sitting there watching it in the theater. She's giving that big, we're going to live. We're going to survive. We're going to get through this. And while I was giving that speech, I turned to the girl that I was dating at the time. And I was like, they going to kill Samuel L. Jackson. She's like, no, he's not. He's giving that big old speech. Everybody screamed and jumped. I was just like, yep. I was like, I hope L. Cool J survives.
So that's the thing, though. When it comes to like those type of movies, like for me, I like tension where you know that no one is safe, where you know that they all can die, but just it has to have good writing. For me, Man of Medan, from what I'm looking at it, it's like you said, a campy B horror movie slash thing that
and
it's
and Until Dawn was that way too. It just wasn't as, I guess it wasn't as noticeable, or maybe I just didn't care back then when I played it. But
I think though, and this is the thing that I'm looking with Supermassive Games is the fact that I get it that they have a great ability of being
that's
able to cast those people
yeah,
into like
that's their bread and butter.
so like it's you see Until Dawn and then you see all these games that are coming out, might have been on, and all the games that they come out recently with. Let's see, what was the other one that they came out with? It was Until Dawn, and then we had let's see if I can actually find this stupid thing. The Dark Pictures, Until Dawn, The Impatient, Hidden Agenda, Bravo T. You see, uh, games that are sort of maybe based on like like a movie thing, like an interactive movie, which is fine. But after a while, like for example, Until Dawn when it first came out, everybody was like, "Oh man, this actually is a freaking good premise." You have a horror game where you can actually save everybody. That was the whole premise for me when I first heard about Until Dawn was the fact that you have the ability, if you play your cards right, that you could have everybody survive
Yep.
and not and that usually doesn't happen in horror movies because some guy is always going to get killed, you know. So in this one was the fact that not only can you save everybody, you can also kill everybody. So you had that going for it, which was fine, which came out in 2015. But now 4 years later, the same kind of formula for it, uh, you're gonna find that it's like gets a little bit stale. So I can see where you're coming from, and you're going, oh my god, this is like I can see this coming from a mile away. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Honestly, that really is. But I mean, but it was like I said, it wasn't a bad game.
mhm.
It's not a full price game like Until Dawn was, but it's not as long as Until Dawn was. Until Dawn you could have made that last like 9 hours, depending on how you played it. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It was average. I think like most reviews were giving it like sevens. I'm like that's a solid, like a solid score for it. But
So let me ask you. So let me ask you this then: what would you, Mister AEG host, would you give it?
I honestly probably would give it about a 7, maybe 7.5.
Gotcha. All right, fair enough.
Um,
What would your score be for Gears 5 then?
Probably an 8.5, maybe a 9. If honestly, if there weren't so many glitches for me personally, it probably would be a 9 all day long. But there was a lot of things that
So
did take me out of it because of that. So I would say
gotcha.
maybe 8.5. I mean, which is still great.
So Bear, question: have you played Gears 5? Like,
No, going through the original Gears as a refresher, so I'm holding off on Gears 5 until I'm done with Gears 4.
okay, fair enough.
But now y'all make me want to play it though because of the way y'all been talking about it. Like maybe at least jump to the multiplayer, but
Right.
because I'm horrible at multiplayer, so having me on your team is like I don't know.
A death sentence.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like having the Steelers defense. So
Oh, you gotta
Oh,
go there.
snap.
No, no, man, you can't do that, man. Because we know they got fucked over by Tom Brady, but come on, you can't say it like that.
oh, thank God for Tom Brady last night.
But
And without Antonio Brown too. Oof. All right.
but
So
yeah,
here's the
real.
thing.
Oh,
Because
go ahead.
actually, I want to ask you, Bear, something. I'm sorry I don't mean to interrupt you,
No, you're good.
Jeff. But so, how many Gears have you played? Since you say you're going
um,
like and playing all.
I've played them all through.
Okay, so recently you
This is
played
just
1, 2, and 3, right?
yes.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm on 3 now.
Okay. So let me ask you this: how the correct question should be: does the gameplay still hold up even after all these years, or do you feel like that because of the way that the game runs, that it's kind of data mechanics, or do you just feel like okay, it's still Gears?
I think it's still Gears. Like to me personally, it still holds up. I'm the guy that will sit there and I'll play regular Xbox games because I like them. So as long as I like the game, it's gonna hold up for me. But I think that Gears 1, Gears 2, I played Gears 2, the but I played Gears 1, the reimagined one, the um new or old
The
one that
Ultimate
came out.
Edition, I think is what they
Yeah,
called
the
it.
Ultimate Edition. Yeah, yeah. I played that one in Gears because I personally love Gears 1. Gears 1 was the first time I ever played it when it came out. I was just in awe of just how beautifully violent it was,
Gotcha.
and I like
Yep.
that kind of thing. Like it was just so like I'm just in my mind. I'm just reliving the first time I ever played Gears 1, and Gears 2 is one of my favorite games. But playing through Gears 3, it's kind of like, and then knowing I got to play Judgment too, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah. it, 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 it,
Yeah.
it, I don't know,
I kind
man.
of,
No, go ahead, Barry. Go ahead.
oh,
I
I kind
didn't
of
mean
want
to
to
cut.
skip it,
Uh,
but I know I have to play it though. But
Yeah,
yeah, I wasn't a
it's
fan of Judgment.
Judgment's a rough one. I mean, it's not a bad game. It just doesn't live up to the rest of the Gears franchise.
No, it's kind of a letdown. It's Judgment to me is kind of like you're going to a concert, a beautiful concert, and the opening act is some local band that's their first gig. That's how Judgment
ah,
is.
oof. Tough, rough words. Oof. Uh, it. for me, I remember playing because this is the thing for me. I have watched a lot of Gear footage, and I have watched a lot of people play Gears. I myself have not sat down and played the entire Gears, anthology at this point. Uh, I remember the one first Gears that I played with was Gears 2. Now, when I played it, it was on my Xbox 360, and it was just literally my younger brother bought it for himself, and I told him, "What do you even have the first Gear?" It's like, "No, but I want to play this because my friends keep telling me that it's decent and it's cool because you can kill like aliens and stuff with it." I'm like, "All right, whatever." I played it. I realized that third person point of view cover shooter wasn't for me at that point. You know, um, for me it just always felt clunky because that's just the way that my brain processed it because I was so used to playing Uncharted and stuff like that and first person shooters. So there was a different way of going about the game. So I just said, you know what, I can't do this. So I stopped. I went back and watched a lot of people play the game and saw the game. Like, you know what, it's a really cool game. It's like a really cool series, just not meant for me. And it's funny how going back now, I'm older, stuff like that, and now I can back and appreciate some of the things that the Gears franchise did for shooters. And you go back and you go, maybe I didn't give it the chance that it deserved. But now that I'm playing Gears 5, I'm thinking, wow, I missed out a lot. I missed out on a total good genre because I was just so pig-headed and so stuck on my ways of just always wanting to play first person. So, I can admit when I'm wrong.
That's fair, man. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've always really enjoyed third person shooters and third person action games specifically. It's kind of like, other than Man of Medan, it's kind of just been what I've been playing lately between Gears, Astral Chain, and the third game that I finished this week, which was Control, by Remedy, that came out last 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and I finished it a week ago Sunday. Man, that game was good. That game was so good. Probably my favorite Remedy game, other than maybe Max Payne. But it is, and Alan Wake was really good too, though. But anyway, Control. You played Jesse, who is looking for the Federal Bureau of Control, and ends up at the beginning of the game. You basically walk in the front door, and all hell is already breaking loose around you, and you basically have to go in there and figure out what's going on. And there's a lot more to that. Like, I really don't want to spoil it, because that's what really drove me through the game is kind of the mystery of why you're there and what was your main reasoning for being there. But just the combat in that game is so over the top. So you have a weapon that you get because of a let's just call it a position you get inside the Federal Bureau of Control, and the weapon can be modified. It's one weapon, but you can change it from like a shotgun to an SMG to like a sniper rifle and so on, and a pistol is what it starts out as. So it has all these various forms that you can use for it. And like between that and then you eventually get, basically psychokinetic powers, so telekinesis and stuff like that, which you can like pick up objects and just chuck them at enemies, but using everything in tandem with each other really just makes the combat of that game shine, and it gets really intense. I mean, there were parts, I mean, even there's no like difficulty settings, which for me is super weird. Obviously, Marlon, you know that how many times I play games on easy. But yeah, it was super. It got super challenging, but it was super rewarding when I was able to beat it, and it made me kind of realize, like, I play games on easy a lot of the time just to to get through them, to see them through, but I really don't have to, I guess, is the best way to put that. But
and here's the thing though, like when we're having the discussion about how easy games and stuff like that, like I said, I have no issues when a developer decides to put easy modes into the game. My issue is when you take it to the extreme, where you feel like you have to have an easy mode on every single thing that you have to do because it's just like I just want to make sure to include everybody into this game. I'm like, that's not how
Right.
I see it. Because for me, at that point, I'm going, and I know Dalton's gonna hear this. Is gonna go, "Shut up, Marlon! I don't want to hear your BS with that." So the thing for me though is that when you decide to make a game go from accessible to everybody, because at some point you have to stop and go, I can't make this completely easy where everybody can just press X and beat the game. No,
Right. Like how
there's
accessible is too accessible.
Hey, there we go. That's the thing, though. So for me, that's my issue when it comes to just difficulty in games. And again, it goes the other way. You cannot make the game completely absurdly difficult to the point where nobody gets to play. You know,
Right.
there's I guess like a Goldilocks effect that I kind of go
It's
for
got to
usually
be
all the time.
just right.
Not for that game. Sekiro comes to mind. Sekiro is a difficult game, yes, but it's a fair game. Same thing with Dark Souls. It's a fair game, and if you want to beat it, you have to, get better at the game. But it's not insurmountable, like Gaiden was, and when Ninja Gaiden DX Sigma when with the PSP, that one was just like you needed to have like a freaking ninja reflexes that no man would have. So it, I get it. A lot of people don't have enough time to play video games nowadays. I understand that point of view, but that's how can I say this? When you start catering to every single person out there that is not a gamer, because you want to include everybody, and you want to have non-gamers play this thing, then you get into like a little slippery slope that just becomes like the microtransactions things. And I know Dalton's gonna say that doesn't mean anything. You're just a hater, but for me, it's just you can't go all the way to the left and you can't go all the way to the right.
Right.
You
No, I
have
get
to
what
have
you're
a
saying.
center. But giving you a
But
thing
yeah,
about the game, you know, it's. I'm happy that you enjoyed it. I'm happy that you had a challenge and that you had a blast with it.
yeah,
It
definitely that one again with Gears is going on my list for Game of the Year. Control is so. So I'll definitely talk more because I know Goose has been. I know he started playing it. I don't know how far he got into it. So I'd like to talk more once that there's been a little bit of time passed for that one. But I know Bear, you said you've also, other than the Gears games, you've been playing Sleeping Dogs again.
Yeah, I don't. I have an obsession with this game. I played it once. I played it the first time on accident because back when I had my PS4, it was free, and so I was like, okay, sounds kind of cool. So I started playing it, and I got really, really attached to the characters in the game. I'm a big character-driven person. I
Gotcha.
look at video games as almost like a movie for me, for myself, that I'm playing through a movie. And the first time I played it, I'm on my 17th time through.
Oh my god.
And but the first time I played it, I got like I don't want to spoil it for nobody in case no one's played it yet. But there's these two characters, and if you've ever seen Game of Thrones, it's like a red wedding type of episode that happens.
Oh. Okay. Yep.
And every time I get to this part, knowing I can't do nothing about it, I actually have a breakdown and I get emotional, and I have to stop playing the game for at least a week
Oh, because
because I'm
it gets
so
that bad.
yeah, because
Gotcha.
I get so upset about these two characters because it's my favorite character in the whole entire game. And every time I play it, I discover something new because I keep trying to get all the lock boxes. I've never gotten all the lock boxes all the way through. I've missed I've gotten all of them except for like three the last time I played it through. This time I'm determined to get all of them. But Sleeping Dogs and the fact that we were supposed to get a second one and we didn't, and it turned into this stupid free to play game. I,
Yeah, we
it's
know. Bueno.
Yeah, it's just I got shafted.
Infuriating, the word you're looking for is
Yes.
uh, the thing about Sleeping Dogs is the fact that the game, when it first came out, when I first saw it, I thought to myself, you know what, looks like a cool, interactive game that I, for once, wouldn't play because that's just not how I play video games. I tend to stay away from the Grand Theft Autos, the Sleeping Dogs, the what's the other one?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Um, the one with the hacker thing.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs. Is that I just can't handle open city-like games because for me, I played it and I get lost and it becomes another Skyrim situation where I'm like, what was I doing again? Okay, I was doing a quest for this people and now I doing going through the garbage looking for something else. And so I'm like, you know what, I can't do it. So I know for a fact that those type of games for me, I can do that with Odyssey, and I can do that with Origins. I can play a medieval type base game where I can get lost, and I don't mind it. But when it comes to city type games like Infamous or Grand Theft Auto or Sleeping Dogs or any of those big open city games, I just can't do it. I can. I get really tired. So the fact that you're telling me that you were go back and play that game and enjoy yourself, bro, props to you. 'Cause I
Like
can't do
it's legit one of my favorite. Like it's legit one of my favorite games of all time. And like I can't. It's sad because I know that I'm a glutton for mental punishment, and I get emotional every time this thing happens. But it's just and just the story alone, which made me happy when they announced they were going to do a sequel. I was like, please continue the story of Wei Shin, And now I'm just like, I'm never going to see Sleeping Dogs 2. And it's
No, unfortunately not.
yeah, and it just saddens me because it's like they pump me up, they build me up, they give me a great story and all this. They get me attached to characters, and then now I'm never gonna see. It's like not getting a sequel to Pulp Fiction, even though we shouldn't have one. But
So let me ask you this then, Bear. Would you prefer that they did a sequel for Sleeping Dogs and it bombed, or would you prefer that they remade it later on with better graphics down the line?
remade it with better graphics because I've played all the DLC.
Fair enough.
So I would prefer that because if they make a game that because it's almost like you go to your perfect like my wife, she loves Cheddar's. It's her favorite restaurant. Okay, she loves going there. Okay, now if we went there and we had bad food after eating there so well, that it it would be like if they made Sleeping Dogs and they made a bad sequel to it. It's like we had this great grand Monte Cristo sandwich. It was perfect, crispy, perfect fries, and then we went there again and we had the same thing, another Monte Cristo sandwich, and it was lackluster, and the fries were like soggy.
Yeah, there's that's the issue when it comes to video games. I feel like when it comes to remakes or when it comes to just making sequels, is that when you risk the chance of making something that a lot of people would love and enjoy, and you drop the ball because you number one, either A, you had issues in making the game, or you had issues in just converting your idea of what you wanted to create for the next sequel, and you cut corners too because you couldn't make deadlines, then you risk, making people that enjoy this game just go, oh, oof, yeah, I can't, yeah, I'm gonna just block that game ever came out, and I'm just gonna focus on the first game.
Yeah, you ruined the integrity of the property,
Yeah. So,
which would kill me.
eh, Sleeping Dogs, I feel like we should give it a couple of years before they even say. Because I'm never gonna be the one that tells developers that okay, they're never gonna get the sequel. Look what happened with Final Fantasy VII. You know, we were waiting 20 plus fucking years for that thing to finally get remade. So I never, from now on, I can never say, I can always say never because you never know. 20 years from now, they're gonna remake, Sleeping Dogs, and I'm gonna call it Sleeping Cats. It's gonna be for like a VR,
Yo, if there's a VR version of Sleeping Dogs, I'm there.
Just be all in.
As long as I don't have to go through that one scene, then I'm good. If I have to go through that one scene and do it VR, I'll probably have a mental breakdown because, like I said, like I really don't want to spoil what happens, but it's just so. Oh, I'm mentally getting spent just thinking about it.
I feel like if they ever remade Sleeping Dogs, I feel like, given the way that we are in a society nowadays, uh, they will probably put either number one, you can skip this cutscene if you don't want to,
Yeah,
or you can save everybody in that cutscene, depending on how you go about it.
Right.
You
but
know,
yeah, but I wouldn't skip it. And honestly, I I thought about that. Wow, my fourth time playing it through, I was like, what if we ever had a chance to save them? Save them, would I save them? And I'm like, actually, no, I wouldn't because what happens in that scene drives Wei Shen's character and is the catalyst for what he does through the rest of the game. Like it literally is the reason why he becomes the person that he is.
it's a very character-driven game, which is, again, enjoyable if you can enjoy the whole aspect of the whole city. I can't. uh, so that's just me, but
Come on, you
I'm
never played as Trevor in Grand Theft Auto 5?
no, and I refuse to do that. Okay, I refuse to put myself through that BS. No, 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 no.
Trevor
No,
is such a beautiful man.
oh man, no, come on, man, no. Like when I saw him basically grab a shotgun and just blast the guy through the frick. Nah, I'm like, nah, the guy wasn't doing anything to you, but he just got, nah, come on, I can't.
Oh
I,
man.
I want to have some brain cells by the end of the game. Okay, I can't deal with Trevor. I can't. Put me. I don't know. I feel like when there was this mission in Grand Theft Auto 5 where basically Trevor was telling this guy, "We're gonna get an airplane, okay?" And he just goes into this huge rant about the government and the freaking aliens. And I'm like, what the fuck? No, no, no. I rather do something else with my life than deal with that. Uh, but so, since you like Sleeping Dogs, what do you think about the whole Shenmue 3?
So sorry.
Did you ever
Uh,
did
the,
you ever play any of the Shenmue games?
No.
oh, then you should make yourself a service and play them. If you
Okay.
if you enjoy Sleeping Dogs, then you're gonna enjoy Shenmue 1 and 2, and well, Shenmue 3 is another issue, but whatever. At least the
Oh.
first two. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Not,
Then I'll put that on my list of things to play.
Yeah, and I want to say that the first two Shenmue games are actually part of Game Pass right now. So
All right.
if you have Game Pass, you can check those out.
I will download them tonight.
Yep.
But so kind of switching gears here. No pun intended. So Nintendo, we're getting into some news and stuff. So Nintendo this past week on the 4th did a Nintendo Direct, which they spent about 40 minutes showing off a bunch of stuff for 2019 for the Switch. And a lot of these announcements I'm just going to kind of breeze through very quickly. There are a few I know we're all going to want to talk about. So let's get quickly through them. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore is coming to the Switch, which was apparently a pretty big gem from the Wii U days. I never played it, but I heard good things about it. They are putting Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Rogue in what's called the Rebel Collection, which will be available in December for the Switch. Which Black Flag is one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. So
Black Flag is my favorite one.
It's definitely a good thing. They put out Divinity Original Sin 2 on the Switch. They're re-releasing Doom 64 on the Switch, which was pretty interesting. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast will be available on the Switch later this month, which I honestly never played that game, but honestly, playing on the Switch might be a good idea. They released a free-to-play Kirby 4-player brawler called Super Kirby Clash. It's free to download now. They showed off Luigi's Mansion. They did a new gameplay demo that still comes out the end of October, on Halloween actually. They showed off what's called Scream Park mode, which is like a multiplayer mode they're doing for Luigi's Mansion 3, which looks pretty sweet. They showed off an Animal Crossing New Horizons video that detailed about more like customization of your area and like your world and stuff like that. They Return of the Obra Dinn, which is a pretty popular indie game, is coming to the Switch, which actually I really want to play because it's only been available, I think, on PC up until this point. They announced something called Rogue Company. It's a team-based shooter from Hi-Rez Studios coming to the Switch. That's next year. Tetris 99 is getting a new mode that's for like
good one.
Like high-level players. And then another Daemon Ex Machina demo is available. It was available that night. So those are the ones that are like kind of, good, but I'm sure the ones that I saved we'll definitely talk a lot more about. The first being that Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is coming next year to the Switch. I know...
Really pumped about that one.
Yes. Because, I played a little bit of it back in the day, and I own Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I played a little bit of that as well. But I'm excited. I kind of want to wait now to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and play the first one first to get that, world building aspect of it.
Do you know how much I went through to try to get the original Xenoblades for the Wii? I spent over 4 months. I spent over 4 months trying to get that stupid game because every GameSpot that I went to was sold out. And I don't know why. I don't understand how. It was like every single time.
Because I think at the time it wasn't exclusive to like GameStop was the only one that sold it. I believe
it was. What happened with Xenoblade Chronicles? It was that it had a. If I remember correctly, it was only allowed to be sold through GameSpot, GameStop, here in the West, and not in the West, here in the States. And they had a limited amount of copies that Nintendo actually sold here for the States. So it was it became a collector's item to the point where a lot of people were trying to get it through either overseas or trying to get it through if you could find one. I could never find one. I stopped. If this game is not for me, it's not for me. So I stopped. The fact that they're bringing it back now as a definitive edition. Thank God.
Yeah. Honestly, I think everything that's been a big title for the Switch everything that was a big title for the Wii U should just be re-released on the Switch. Like,
I agree.
I just forget that console ever existed. At this point, in a lot of the stuff has been re-released for the Switch, but I think I really think they should do Wind Waker HD. I think they should do Twilight Princess HD. Just port those over. Like, people will pay for them. Like, get your head out of your asses, Nintendo. But let's see what else. So Game Freak, the company known for Pokemon, is doing a it's like a town building game. It's called like Little Town Hero now. It was just called Town, but now it's called Little Town Hero, and it's actually, I think it's coming out next month, I want to say. So it's actually fairly, right around the corner, which looks interesting. Terry Bogard from the Fatal Fury fighting game franchise is coming to Smash Bros. Ultimate. And they said they have confirmed that there is more DLC coming in the future. And then they released Banjo and Kazooie for Smash.
Yeah, I'm the worst player at that game.
Yeah, I'm super bad too.
Yeah, like I entered a tournament at a GameStop, and I got beat by like a 10-year-old kid, and then there's another guy my age, and I beat him, and then I somehow made it to like I think the third round, and then I played this guy. He walked in with a special controller for the Switch. He had a controller. He had his hoodie on. He put the hoodie up. It was almost like it was like World Series of Poker for him, and he just proceeded to like I think he mercy let me hit him once just so I felt
Oof.
good about myself.
God, that's messed
Jesus.
up.
Yeah.
Uh, the thing about Super Smash, and I said this in the podcast before, I refuse to play it, and I refuse to play it with my girlfriend. Um, I want to have some dignity left by the end of it, because it's here's the thing though. We're talking about, yeah, she's tall. She's probably about 2 inches taller than me, but she's very skinny. So when you're having this 95 to 105 pound girl who is literally destroying you using any character from Smash, you could have the most broken character, whether it's Cloud, whether it's, Meta Knight, whether it's, freaking Mewtwo, and she will pick a Jigglypuff for crying out loud and beat
Yeah.
the crap out of me. I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, that's why I
I
won't play my wife in Forza because I think I'm good at car games. I'm not, but if there was with this Forza, I'm not. I'm just gonna concede and lose. Like I might talk all the shit I want to, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat you, but in my heart of hearts, I know that I probably will crash 7 times and she'll lap me like 4.
oof.
So
Ouch.
yeah, she is very good at Forza. Like it's stupid how good she is at Forza.
That's
Does she
funny.
play in any other games than other than Forza or?
Babe, do you play any of the games? Just Forza, right? Yeah, yeah. Forza's the only game that she's really interested in because she likes car games. So,
Oh,
she
nice.
she she played the crew for about a good like 2-3 hours for good 2-3 hours into the crew, and then um I got Forza. So, but she loves Forza.
Hey, that's nothing wrong with that. If Goose was here, he'd be talking up a storm on Forza right now.
Yeah, I love that's one of my favorite franchises too, especially the Horizon series. The
Yes.
Horizon sub series I really really enjoy. Um, but continuing on with some of these Nintendo announcements, I'm sure Marlon you'll want to talk about this one, but they did show a new trailer for Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Oh,
Oh yes.
oh my God, dude! You have no idea how happy I was when I saw the trailer. Because let's face it, the customizations in Sun and Moon were crappy as hell. I don't care if people tell me like, oh no, they were so cool, man. You had like this Hawaiian hat, and then you had another Hawaiian hat, and then you had a Hawaiian T-shirt, and then a pair of shorts. I'm like, no, no, they had no flavor to the customization that you got in X and Y. The fact that we're getting so much customization in Pokemon Sword and Shield, I was so happy. I was so happy, bro. Because here's the thing, though. I was of the belief that it's the character is just a character. It's just a link between you and the game. It doesn't really matter how it looks like. When X and Y came and I could customize my character to look how I wanted to look, the way that I wanted to look, and step away from everybody else and looking the same, bro, I cannot go back and play Pokemon games, without character customization. Because for me nowadays, that is an important part. Because not only does that make me feel like this storyline is about me, but it allows me to not only enjoy the game, but also makes me feel like Bear would say, you make a connection with the characters because now you're not thinking, oh, it's just this generic Pokemon, trainer. No, you're thinking, oh, this is my trainer. This is the guy that I like to play with. So that's the thing that I've been enjoying the most about the trailer. The fact that we get new Pokemon, the fact that we're getting so much stuff in the game, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't see what's the whole big deal about the whole Pokedex thing because at the end of the day, I can see both sides of the equation, but uh, by this point, I got in. I can understand why people get mad, and I was also in the mindset of the why they shouldn't put them in the first place. But at this point, it is what it is, and you just gotta play it. And if you don't like it, well, more props to you. If you love it, more props to you. It's just that by this point, I'm done trying to hate on the game before it hasn't even come out, and I just
Yeah.
want to play it.
I'm a new Pokemon player, relatively new to the Pokemon genre. I started with Pokemon Go actually. Actually, like I messed with the Pokemon games, but Pokemon Go was where I really started to get involved with Pokemon to the
Mm-hmm.
point where I actually have like my top three favorites now. And well, my wife's favorite is Squirtle. That's her favorite Pokemon. But I love Eevee. But I feel that if I had gotten into Pokemon when it first came out, like how you said you were missing out with the Gears, I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I missed out with the Pokemon series. Like I just started to watch the cartoon, so Indigo League because my son likes it. So me and him watch it. We watch a few episodes, so it's here and there. So I feel like I'm really excited for Sword and Shield though. I feel it's going to be a good addition to the series.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Looking forward to it as well.
all right. Do you saw that new trailer? Also talking about the Nintendo Direct. What do
Yes.
you think about that trailer for Link for Legend of Zelda: Link's
I'm
Awakening?
super excited. I cannot wait for it to be the 20th. That game looks so much fun. So much fun.
um,
It looks so just I love the art. The art style is so cool. Like just the way that they like reprised a lot of that stuff. So,
mhm. It's my girlfriend really likes it. She wants to play it. Uh, for me, again, I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. For me, I'm indifferent about it. I think and anybody who plays Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening hasn't played the Game Boy Color Edition or the Game Boy Advance Edition, I should say. Uh, 2 years of a service. Play that first, and then play this one. Uh, if you don't want to do it, you can play the original this one for the Switch, and you will have a blast. I feel like you should play the advanced version because it is I guess the SNES version. You're making yourself a disservice because the both games are really really cool. Uh, I think for me, in talking about now talk about the SNES, that the fact that you can play Nintendo Super Nintendo games on the Switch, uh, I'm okay with that. They needed that. I was
Yeah,
hoping to finally have some cool Super Nintendo games on the Switch. So the fact that they're bringing that, no extra charge. Anyone who has the Nintendo Switch Online membership,
yep.
it comes with your membership, and you can play those games. You can play Super Mario World. You can play all this. What was it? Uh, Metroid? Was it?
yeah.
I
Do they
think
have Turtles
Super
in Time
Metroid's
yet?
on there. Hold on. I don't know if Turtles in Time is one of them. I don't know if it is. Hold on.
Because I got the shaft with that on the mini SNES. I was, and I
I
really
don't.
need to
It
play Turtles in Time.
probably not just due simply um to what's it called, licensing.
Licensing,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I don't. I'm looking that up right now. If you want to keep talking about the Super Nintendo stuff, Marlon.
It's I like the fact that you can play them, and the fact that they added a new controller for the Switch using the old Super Nintendo, look of the controller. I'm happy about that. The fact that they can actually play my Super Nintendo games on the Switch using a Super Nintendo controller, hey, that was great. You know,
Okay,
because
so
I hate the freaking non the joystick. Okay,
The
I'm
Joy
not gonna
Cons.
get. Yeah, I can't get into it. Two
I
big
don't
hands.
mind
I
the.
got two big hands,
yeah,
bro. Like,
Me too.
it's sometimes
I
it's
got two big
difficult
barrels.
for me sometimes too. Honestly, like that's why like I mostly play my Switch in handheld because it's the most comfortable with those specific controllers. Because I can rest my
feel like-
hands on the rest of the system as opposed to that little midget
Nah,
Joy-Con
If-
holder
if-
thing.
it feels like I'm a T-Rex, holding like this, like, what the fuck am I doing? It just feels no, I can't do it. I get cramps and I get my. Usually, what happens is my ring finger and my index
That's why
finger
you should just get a
kind of
Pro
get.
controller.
Uh,
Yeah, the Pro controllers are nice.
They are super nice. Even the third-party ones are pretty decent.
you know what really
But,
pissed me off? I wish my Wii U controller could work with that. You know?
Oh, like the Wii U controller that they did, like the Pro controller that they did?
Yeah. Why? I'm not even gonna get
Yeah,
into it.
that's a
on the
real quick.
like-
For the Super Nintendo games, Turtles in Time is not on there. Bear, sorry to disappoint.
It's okay.
Let's see. Brawl Brothers, Demon's Crest, Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Star Fox, Super EDF, Earth Defense Force, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World
That's the
2,
one.
Super Puyo Puyo 2, Super Tennis, Breath of Fire, F-Zero, Kirby's Dream Course, Pilot Wings, Stunt Race FX, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Soccer, and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Yoshi's Island, and
Yeah, like
it's
obviously Mario World 2, Metroid, and Link to the Past are pretty much the big highlights there.
Yeah.
In terms of like most well-known games. I mean, Star Fox, Kirby games, like those are good games too. So, Super Ghouls and Ghosts is also a great game. Hard as hell game, but still good.
No respect for the turtles. So
nope.
it's
a licensing
okay.
thing. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I would think.
did
Real
you get
quick,
yourself that?
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask Barry if you bought yourself that Super Nintendo mini console that they
Yes.
had. Okay,
Yes.
so that's what you're playing. Okay, just making sure.
Yep. Well,
Um,
actually, my wife bought it for me.
Okay. Lucky son of a gun. All right.
But real quick, last couple of announcements. Trials of Mana, which is like a really good-looking JRPG game, comes out in April of next year, right in the thick of spring releases. But it still
know,
looks
right?
pretty damn sweet. And then the two, I would say, probably biggest announcements to come out of this whole thing, other than the Super Nintendo stuff, because that was, a lot of people's most anticipated thing. But Deadly Premonition is getting a sequel, which is just insane. That game was a cult classic back in the day. I remember everybody talking about that game. It was kind of like, I can't really like put my finger on it. It was such a like hidden gem that it was so weird and so like just off the wall. And for Swery to come back and make a a sequel to that game, now.
Which is funny because Deadly Premonition was actually a reboot of an Access Games earlier video game that they did, which was called Rainy Woods, which was in production since September of 2004 to October 2007. Rainy Woods was canceled during just after the debut of its game just after its debut in the Tokyo Game Show in 2007. They literally canceled it because they just could not deal with the technical issues. And then 3 years later, that thing came out as Deadly Premonition, that's why you have all that hype about it, because everybody was looking at, oh man, that's Rainy Woods, man, they finally rebooted. Holy crap, I want to play this. And it became, like you said, this hidden gem that only a certain people knew about back in 2010 in Japan. The fact that they're getting a reboot, not a reboot, they're getting a sequel for it, I'm surprised at all.
And they released the first Deadly Premonition. It's available now on the Switch. You can play the first one, so you can play this one before the sequel comes out next year. So, it's pretty cool. I mean, I played it. I remember owning it for the PS3. I barely played any of it, but I did play it.
It's funny because Deadly Premonition holds the record for the most critically polarizing survival horror game. If you
Yeah.
can even take anything that with a freaking grain of salt, because for me right now, the Guinness World Records can suck a major dick for all the
Jesus.
shit that they do. Before I thought the Guinness World Records meant something. Now it's just literally what it does. It's just like, oh, you want to pay us for a record? Fine, couple million here and there from any freaking country, and we'll take it. So it's a joke for me. Like, that fucking company is a fucking joke. So again, happy about Premonitions 2, A Blessing in Disguise.
Yep. Yes, thank you. I knew it was. I knew the subtitle had something to do with disguise. Thank you, appreciate it. That's why I keep you around.
Oh, fuck you, man.
I love you, Marlon.
No. The only reason why you keep me around is because, and I'm saying this is a very candid thing for all the viewers and listeners out there, is because I can record. Because if I didn't know how to record,
accurate.
I'll be like, I don't need that motherfucker. He can leave. I don't need him to shit. So
no, that is not true at all, and you know it.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Marlon.
What's up, man?
Judging by my wife's reaction next to me, the Texans aren't doing so well.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's.
I just heard that.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the very last announcement I wanted to touch on for the Nintendo Direct. I'm trying to just push through. Is that a very surprise move? Overwatch is coming to the Switch, which is crazy, and it's coming to Switch like what next? Is it later this month or next month? It's soon.
I'll tell you. Give me 1 second, because I had that.
So look it up, but I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I know like Fortnite is on the Switch, which is a very online focused game, and obviously Overwatch is an online focused game as well. So not trying to compare Fortnite and Overwatch. So please, for the love of God, people on the internet, don't crucify me for that.
Overwatch is better, but go ahead.
What's that?
Overwatch is better. Go ahead.
Overwatch is like not even close to being as low on the totem pole as Fortnite is for me. No, Overwatch is a phenomenal game, and I do really love it. I have fallen off of it ever since it came out, but it is still a fantastic game. And I'm really excited for people that play that own a Switch and stuff like that are able to play it. Like, it's super
coming out on October 15th of 2019.
Okay. I thought it was next month. So about a month. But yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It's funny how Blizzard is doing right now when it comes to their properties and how they're handling them. Look at what happened, and this is just me looking at it from the perspective of just outside, because I don't play Overwatch. But the fact that you're getting Overwatch for the Switch, which is something that I was not expecting.
Me neither.
And it was something that allows them to basically, hey, listen, now we have a tournament-based game on our platform that you can actually play. And I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing Nintendo sponsor tournaments for Overwatch in the future.
That would be super cool, honestly. I think that'd be very, very awesome.
Like they do with the Pokemon Nintendo tournaments and stuff like that, Here's the thing, though. The fact that you have Overwatch for the Switch, and the fact that we had WoW Classic just coming out right now, Blizzard is doing good for themselves, Not surprised on that front, but
I've said this for years and years and years. I really wish they would put WoW on consoles.
Me too, bro. I do.
I am not a PC hater. Like, I would love to just sit on my couch with a controller and play that game.
I feel if they put WoW on the console, I feel like I
wouldn't play anything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't play nothing else. I would probably lose my family because when I did play WoW, that's everything that I did. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking like I didn't budge from my chair for hours on end. I went to the old school gaming zones just to go play World of Warcraft when I have the game at home. But I went to go play it there. It's just, I just really love WoW, and I really want it to come to console because I don't have time to build a PC. nor do I have the money to build the
I mean,
PC.
granted, the nice thing with WoW is it really is not super intensive. Like, most basic PCs can run it, but you want that full experience for sure. Oh my god.
And I'm recording that. I'm recording that.
So am I.
That is my wife. Apparently, someone
Alright.
missed the field goal.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
All
That was
right.
absolutely beautiful. Keep going on, please, Jeff. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
No, I mean, I was just saying that, World of Warcraft is not very graphics intensive, but
I understand that.
but yeah,
I understand.
I like sitting on my couch and playing video games. I don't like sitting in front of a desk for a PC or I mean, I have a laptop, so I guess I don't have to sit in front of a desk, but I don't know. I'm just more comfortable just sitting on my couch playing video games on television.
Yeah.
I mean, there are many ways I'm sure I could set it up differently. I could get a keyboard and mouse and hook the computer up to the TV and everything like that. So I mean, don't hate me for saying it the way I say it. That's just how I prefer to play games.
Gotcha. I understand where you're coming from.
But yeah, Overwatch on the Switch is very cool, and I'm super happy that Blizzard is doing it. Because it's going to give a lot more people the opportunity to play that game, and it's very cool for something that competitive and that as big of a name, honestly, to be on the Switch now as well. So very, very cool. So that's all I had for the Nintendo Direct stuff. Does anybody have anything else to add real quick before we move on from that?
Just that I'm just excited that Overwatch is on the Switch because, like I said, Overwatch is one of like when Battleborn. I believe you remember, Jeff, when Battleborn came out, how excited I was for Battleborn, and then I was one of the ones that within like 3 days I took it back.
Yep.
For like $30 less than what I paid for it. I'm not gonna get into
God,
that.
That game was butt.
It was, and then Overwatch came out, and I remember our friend Jericho was talking about Overwatch, and then so he had picked it up, and then I picked it up, and then I just fell in love. I had never played a game like that before in my life, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, there was a good couple of months where that's all I played.
Yep. Like all I did was play as Diva.
Really?
Junkrat is still my favorite.
Junkrat.
Yep. But yeah, Overwatch is a great game. Well, go ahead, Marlon. What did you say?
No, I was saying again, you guys, you guys talking about like Overwatch characters, and I get it. You guys have fun with it. I just can't.
You just can't get into it. That's fine, man. Hey, not everybody has to like every game. That's the beauty of the industry.
Exactly.
Even though most people hate you for not liking a specific game, but that's also the nature of the industry.
I think, and this is the thing that I was going to say that now that you mention it, and because I just realized something, and something that Dave Chappelle said it, and I'm just gonna quote what he said. Basically, is our culture has accepted two huge lies. The first, that if you disagree with someone's lifestyle, you must fear or hate them. The second is that to love someone means you agree with everything they believe, say, or do. Both are nonsense. You don't have to compromise convictions to be compassionate. So if you don't like a video game, or if you love a video game, the fact that you can hate somebody because they don't like the same video games that you do, or because you love other games that they don't love, means that you have to hate them. I find that really stupid. I find that really juvenile. I cannot agree with playing, let's say Overwatch over and over again, because for me, it's a multiplayer game base. Yes, I understand that, and I don't particularly like that specific type of gameplay. But if you can enjoy it, you can have fun with it. Hey, it's no skin off my shoulder.
That's how I feel about, and I always catch a lot of crap for this. That's how I feel about Final Fantasy VII.
I can already hear Jeff going,
oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. Marlon.
We've had this conversation.
I know. That's like one of Marlon's favorite games of all time. So
yeah. I prefer 10 is my favorite.
Well, you will, it's too bad Dalton's not here right now.
it's funny because I play 7, right? I enjoyed it. I had a blast with it. I love what 10 did when it comes to cinematography, finally having characters that can talk. Um, just for me, the theme of going into Sanarkand, uh, that's probably one of the most favorable themes that I enjoy.
It
That's
is
like
a
probably my favorites besides
phenomenal.
One Wing Angel. Besides One Wing Angel, but it's I understand what 10 did, but if the minute you play the remake for Final Fantasy VII, and I hope they do a freaking justice for it, you're gonna see that it's night and day. But again, I can understand that the people enjoy 10 so much.
Fucking kidding me? You fucking serious?
Yeah, for our
Yeah.
viewers out there, the New
So-
England Saints, you beat the crap out of the Houston Texans, and I'm pretty sure Bears' wife is really mad right now.
That's an understatement.
So you can say that again.
Any Hoosers. I don't have a lot more. I do want to say that Jeff Keighley broke news today that they will be doing a media event for The Last of Us 2 on September 24th, which, hell fucking yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking bullshit.
I'm
Hey,
gonna have to do some editing after this. Let's just do it like that.
No, it's fine. Leave it in.
and
It builds character.
It builds character, huh?
But no, yeah, I'm super excited. Like, obviously, we don't know much other than that they're going to do some type of media event for The Last of Us 2. Hopefully, we start getting some coverage built up. I know Goose said it in our Discord that he thinks that this is kind of going to be... They were teasing for a while that was going to be a spring 2020 game, and this is starting to kind of confirm that they're starting to ramp up marketing for it. To eventually, like, once Death Stranding is out, they're gonna probably try to put all their eggs in the Last of Us basket and get things rolling with that. So we'll definitely have more to talk about there, and then obviously we'll have a lot more to talk about next week with TGS starting on Wednesday. So there was like some pre-TGS stuff this week. They showed a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3's DLC, and they also showed a trailer for the Resident Evil. They're doing some type of 4-player co-op Resident Evil that they said they'll show more at the stage show this week at TGS. But that's all I have. Do you guys have anything else that you want to cover real quick before we cut loose this week?
I would like to formally apologize for
Oh,
the
come
Houston
on,
Texans
nah.
game.
Oh, okay, you're not
Ow.
apologizing for her words. You're just apologizing for the game.
She just threw a water bottle at me.
She's
so
not.
I'm
You're,
not
she, no.
so I'm not apologizing no more.
No, it's fine. No, it's
fine,
seriously,
man.
it's literally
we love
fine.
to have you
Yeah.
again when the whole gang is here, man.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna have to have you back on here when it's all four of us and
Stop it.
everything's rolling. So, absolutely, Bear. Thank you for being here and hanging out
Thank
with
you
us.
for having me.
Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime. But if nobody else has anything, then we will see you next week here on the AEG show.